Welcome to an episode of InRange. I'm here today with the Smith & Wesson Safety Hammerless, sometimes also called the New Departure, and colloquially called the Lemonsqueezer because of the safety in the grip. The gun is a double action only, hammerless, not really, hammered internally and shrouded to be hammerless for pocket carry revolver. Chambered in .38 Smith & Wesson. It is a top break. It holds 5 rounds with an ejector, much like you might be familiar with the Schofield. And as I said, this is double action. You're actually cocking the hammer each time you pull the trigger. If you're not depressing the safety in the back, it will not allow you to fire the gun. This was designed to be carried in a pocket. And we've talked about this here on InRange before, but pocket carry was very common in the Old West for a number of reasons. One was for just general convenience and ease of carry. Another one was that many cities and towns illegalized the carry of a weapon within city limits, and therefore something you could carry in your pocket discreetly allowed you to do so discreetly. And this gun, both chambered in .32 Smith & Wesson and this one in .38 Smith & Wesson, was manufactured from 1887 until 1940 and went from the transition of black powder to smokeless powder through its lifetime. It is also, as you can probably tell, really the precursor to the now very common Smith & Wesson J-frame, typically chambered in .38 Special. Now, .38 Smith & Wesson is a little bit of a different cartridge. This was what came before. .38 Special is a shorter cartridge, and you're going to see these are actually hand-loaded with wad cutters. This is an original gun from the 1880s based on the serial number, and I'm firing it today with black powder because this was not a gun that was necessarily designed, metallurgically speaking, for smokeless powder. Also, another interesting idiosyncrasy of the .38 Smith & Wesson round is that it is a diameter of .361 for the bullet versus the normal .357, .358 you see with modern Smith .38 Special. So you can get .361 bullets, and the original cartridges were heeled bullets, and they were a modern innovation in that the actual lubrication for the bullet was below the cartridge mouth, unlike many cartridges at the time where the lubrication was exposed to the elements. That was one of the big upgrades of the .38 Smith & Wesson. But for me, I needed to load black and powder, and I didn't want to deal with weird .361 bullets that I had to buy specialty. So these are 148 grain full wad cutters that are hollow based. Just like a Minier bullet, the black powder behind it expands the rear of the bullet, and it actually then engages the rifling and provides perfectly fine accuracy, as you're going to see. Now, .38 Smith & Wesson lived on even through World War II. In fact, the British loaded this with a 200 grain bullet, which gave it a little lower velocity but higher penetration. But the original black powder loading was a 158 grain bullet at around 750 feet per second. I am shooting a 148 grain bullet today at around 750 feet per second. For all rough equivalencies, this is the original Smith & Wesson black powder .38 S&W load. So what you're going to see is, as I said, this is a 5-shot revolver. You're not going to reload this rapidly, although the top break and ejection does allow you to reload if you really need to. Can't hit this fucking thing. This was a very handy pocket revolver that was ubiquitous and powerful enough to certainly do the job all the way up through the 1940s. And of course today, the Smith & Wesson J-frame does the same exact job, but in .38 Special. Center. Dead. 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 Almost dead. The sight picture on this gun is actually not terrible. By guns of that era, this is actually quite good. It's a notch and a post. It's kind of a barleycorn, and it provides a more than sufficient sight picture for reasonable aiming. Wow, look at those nice wad cutter holes. This gun is absolutely still capable, even by modern standards, if you're thinking of it as what it is, which is a hideout gun, a backup revolver, something that's not a primary piece. But back in the 1870s, 1880s, this would have been that thing that was just big enough to fight with, but just small enough to hide in your pocket with a reasonably fast reload, unlike so many other guns of the time. It's really amazing to see that this original piece from the 1880s performs so admirably, and honestly, I don't think this would be a deficiency to carry now today, except for the fact that it's black powder only. If this was loaded with smokeless, this would be no different than any other J-frame on the market today. And in fact, I kind of like the top break action better than the more modern swing out cylinder. But that's, of course, a personal and subjective opinion. Guys, I hope you like watching this content today. I had to make all of this ammunition, had to do it hand-loaded with black powder so I could use this gun safely. And this gun was purchased with money from you, the viewer, so that I could do videos with it today and in the future. And you will definitely be seeing more of this very interesting, unique revolver in future episodes of InRangeTV. If you'd like to support the channel, you can find me at patreon.com/InRangeTV. And if you can't, I totally understand. Just help me with the algorithm on YouTube. Subscribe and share this content with your friends, because the algorithm is certainly not doing it for me. Thank you for watching.